know where there's some. Right here in the hall clerk.
No, Molly, I have
no... Okay, this has been giving me fits. Let me tell you what's going on here. This cam device sits right here and is engaged with the gear around the outside by the turntable. The bottom of the turntable has a gear that fits in here and rotates this cam device when you engage any of this mechanism. If you just turn the turntable on to run, all that happens is, well, it's missing part of it, but that engages the power switch for the turntable. Turntable starts to run, and that's it. But when you do anything else, when you want to use the changer part, this cam gets involved, and the cam sits right there. And then all of this business sits right here and engages in there, and it has some rollers down here, a couple of rollers that go into slots in the cam, and they push this mechanism back and forth. This is all loosey-goosey. This is all fine. One of the things that it engages in is right down in here. Let me move the camera. And that's this plastic mechanism right here. And it's actually two pieces. This is the lifter. What do they call it? The pickup base. And it does a couple of things. This shaft right here goes through to the tone arm itself. So the tone arm pivots on there. This thing lifts the tone arm and swings it out onto the record and drops it down. And as I said, this plastic part is two pieces. There's this part right here that you can see, and then there's a plate right here that's attached to it. And this is it's so remarkably stiff. I can't believe it's supposed to be that stiff. And I've had it apart numerous times, and I'll take it apart one more time so I can show you what's going on with it. Okay, this is it. And it's, as I said, it's two pieces. There's this plastic part that there's a slide that this pushes right here, pushes up and down to lift the tone arm. And then there's this metal shaft that does some pushing up in here when the time is right. But it's just really stiff. I just can't believe it was meant to be that way. It's so stiff that it bogs down the motor. It isn't that the motor shuts off when the tone arm sets down on the record. It's that the platter gets to this really hard place to move, which is in here, and it just overpowers the motor, so it just can't turn anymore. And I'm pretty convinced at this point, because everything else on this turntable is really loose. All of this mechanism is working fine as far as I can tell. There's nothing jammed up on it at all. But this thing is like glued together still. So what I've done is it's held together by this spring-loaded pin right here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get some more light on this. Right here is a spring-loaded pin, and it holds a plastic washer and the circlip to hold it in place. And it's really hard to push down. It's a stiff spring. So what I'm going to do is to try to loosen this up. It's so hard to move. I can't believe it's true. I said that before. What I'm going to do is, this is a very thick plastic washer right here that binds these two together. So what I'm going to do is search around in my parts box for a washer that I will replace this with a steel washer that's thinner than that. The other thing I thought about doing was trimming the end off that spring. I mean, I can't imagine why it would have to be that stiff. And this is the only part left in this whole turntable. It's really hard to move. It's jerky, and I took it all apart, cleaned it up, put white lithium grease on there, and it's still, with oil, it's no better. In fact, it's a little worse. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try it, and I'll show you the... Okay, this is the original washer, and it's, let's see, how thick is it? 1.1 millimeter. 1.2 millimeter would be closer. Between 1.1 and 1.2 millimeter. I found this one in my box of stuff. It is 0.7, so it's not quite half as thick, but we'll see if that makes any difference at all. I'll reassemble it and show you what happens. Alright, I put the thinner washer in the riser mechanism, and that makes those two parts slide together more easily. So let's see how it works. And I've of course tried this before I put it on the camera. It still slows down right there, but then it picks up again. So it's pretty clear to me that that's what's happening, is that's being so hard to move that either the rubber roller in there isn't grippy enough, or the motor isn't quite up to snuff yet. That may never be. I tend to suspect the rubber roller, but I also tend to think that that piece that's under here actually is not working the way it was designed to work. It's still too stiff, and putting a lot of, in spite of this lever that's that long, it's still not, motor's not able to power through that very easily. But now it's working. So long, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.